Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means tonight was Monday Night Raw. As far as tonight's Monday Night Raw does go, I liked the show. I thought it flowed really well. I thought it went really good. I thought it was a quick-paced show. There wasn't much downtime and so forth, but it built up towards the pay-per-view. We learned more for the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. We got new challengers for the tag titles. They didn't say, unless I missed it, did they say when Judgment Day will challenge for the tag titles? I didn't see that either. Okay. I would assume the pay-per-view, but I don't know. I'm not going to say that for sure. But we know Judgment Day.
It should be the pay-per-view, though.
Well,
it should be.
You would think that, but then a bunch of times Gunther would get a challenger for the IC title, and they'd do it on a Raw or SmackDown. So I'm not going to say for sure for anything because, yeah. But regardless, I thought tonight was a really good Raw. I thought we built up to a lot of things. I've got some shit to say about Adam Pearce and Braun Breaker that we'll get to. But we got Luke over here with us as well. Luke, what'd you think of tonight's Monday Night Raw?
Like you said, I thought it was a pretty good episode of Raw. Flowed by really well. Had some stuff built for King and Queen of the Ring. I know a lot of people were kind of complaining that Dragunov lost in the main event, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
You ain't getting the first main roster Gunther Dragunov on a Raw. No, they're saving that for a PLE.
I think they should save it for Bash at Berlin.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be perfect. But with that, I do want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that way you know when we post new videos, that way you know when we go live, and that way you know when we post to the community tab. Hit that join button to become a channel member. Even if you can only support at the $1 tier, that'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Same thing with Patreon, patreon.com/PWU Unlimited. And remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat or super sticker in the live chat here on YouTube. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game like Hades 2, getting an older game like Ghost of Tsushima, claiming the free games, which right now are Circus Electrique and Firestone free offer. Maybe you're getting something for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys. Use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Right now, they've got some new Lighthouse stuff for Lego Fortnite. Billie Eilish is in Fortnite with Festival Mode. So go over there and use code PWU NLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. But with that, we've got Monday Night Raw to talk about. The show kicks off with Gunther, Kofi, Jay, and his son, Ilya, and Drew walking into the building. Drew, we follow in his gear all the way to the ring. And I'm like, oh, he's in his gear. Is he going to fight somebody? He didn't, but it's still a really good opening segment. Drew McIntyre came straight down to the ring as the show opened, and he was greeted with loud CM Punk chants by the crowd here in Greenville. McIntyre said the Punk only made it to the big towns like Atlanta and Charlotte and wasn't showing up here tonight in Greenville. Punk once said the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing everyone that he didn't exist. But the greatest trick Punk ever played was looking like a drug addict without ever taking one. Oh, that was a freaking great line. We've heard it in the past, similar lines, but I like the way Drew, like his delivery of it. McIntyre said that another trick he pulled was getting the fans to trust him no matter how many times he broke their trust. Management and the fans both kept taking him back no matter how many times he betrayed them. McIntyre didn't want to talk to the people like they were stupid, quote, But if you're a CM Punk fan, well, then you're stupid, end quote. McIntyre noted that Punk played dumb by pretending he didn't see him leave last week when he showed up seconds later. McIntyre accused Adam Pearce of being Punk's stooge on the inside. McIntyre would eventually get his hands on Punk when he did, Punk would be begging him to let him go, and would be fearing that he was going to break his tricep again. McIntyre wasn't going to waste his time, though, with someone who wasn't even going to be cleared for another 20 years. He moves on to Jey Uso, who lost yet another title shot, a match that should have been his in the first place, and then took his spot in King of the Ring, and McIntyre said he's going to deal with Jey later. I thought he was going to attack Jey at the end of the show. That's what I thought was going to happen. Jey wins, and then McIntyre comes out and attacks him, so Jay's got to go into the Gunther match hurt. But that's not what they did. I was wrong in my thinking. Anyways, he said that the number one thing on his mind right now is the World Heavyweight Championship. And technically, he's still owed a rematch for losing the belt. Because the way we've learned it from WWE is you lose the title, you get a rematch, as long as the person that beat you hasn't lost the belt yet. So Seth lost to Drew. Seth can't get a rematch because Drew then lost to Priest. Drew can still technically use his rematch clause. We've learned that in WWE over the last 30 years. That's how it kind of works, I guess you would say. Priest would then come out after, McIntyre brought his name up. Priest dared McIntyre to finally say something to his face. Or maybe to anybody's face, because he likes to talk while people aren't around. He likes to talk about people, not to that person, I guess you would say. McIntyre said that he would love to put Punk behind him, but Punk kept running away from him. McIntyre gave Priest credit for stepping up to him tonight and put him over for paying his dues, but he still didn't deserve to be the champion. McIntyre's neighbor Dave also had an inspiring story, but he shouldn't be champion either. The title was making the man in this case, but the Raw title was in its initial stages, and it needs to be the man making the belt. And I'm like, I don't know about that one. This belt's been around for a year now. You don't need someone to help put the title over anymore. Seth did that for almost a year. We're good. McIntyre then spoke about Priest cash-in, but Priest cut him off. Priest said that McIntyre chose this life and chose to be a WWE superstar, and he knows what comes with it. Priest urged him to look into the mirror and blame the asshole looking back at him. Priest wanted to cash in on Seth Rollins and have a main event match against McIntyre, but it was McIntyre who stopped that many times. McIntyre finally achieved his goal at WrestleMania, and all he had to do was leave with his wife and not get involved with CM Punk, but he did, and that's what cost him the championship. He also got his ass whooped in the meantime. I think he also made a line about a one-armed man talking about Punk. So basically, he said, you got your ass beat by a one-armed man. Priest then agreed to give McIntyre a title shot in the future once he's cleared to compete. Because we know he's got the bad elbow or whatever. Priest then said to McIntyre, call him a paper champion, but would he eat those words? Basically saying, call me whatever you want. We'll see once we fight who the real champion is. I liked this segment from the Drew stuff about Punk, which I'm just like, okay, the Drew stuff about Punk, I like the way they're building it, but it's like, how long is this going to go? I think maybe SummerSlam. If it goes past SummerSlam, then I think it's jumped the shark. But then I also like the Priest stuff tonight. I thought the dynamic of Priest and Drew working off each other was great. Both guys were good on the mic. Both guys' delivery was good, and I think they worked well together. What did you think?
Oh, yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I mean, it really just depends if, Punk is, good to go. I mean, I assume he is.
So, I would think at least by SummerSlam. Because if Punk was cleared, we would know by now. So, I mean, he got physical at WrestleMania and then nothing else since, really. So, I don't know.
Well, if it was at Clash of the Castle.
Honestly, I think this title match should happen at Clash of the Castle and Punk screw Drew. Or Punk accidentally helps Drew win the title, leading to Punk getting himself a title shot at SummerSlam against Drew McIntyre. Here's my thinking on this. Drew hates Punk so bad and wants to fight Punk so bad that he wins the belt. And then Punk's like, I'm not going to fight you unless you put the title on the line. And then Drew goes, fine, I'll fight you with the title on the line. Whatever, cool. I think that's where we lead to. I think the big Drew Punk match is going to main event SummerSlam. What else do you got? Cody and somebody? What?
Should actually be insane right now.
Huh.
Like, what if? So they do Drew versus Damian for the world title at Clash of the Castle. Let's say Finn screws Damian, Drew wins the belt. And then while Drew is celebrating, Punk beats the crap out of Drew.
I don't hate that.
Or we could do the other way around. Let's say Punk screws Drew, Damian wins, then Judgment Day celebrates with Damian, then Finn attacks Damian.
You could do that. But I have this thing in my head where it's like Punk's gonna try and screw Drew in his home country, actually his hometown, and it's gonna backfire, and he's gonna accidentally take out Priest in the interim or whatever. That's what I think could happen. But I don't know. When is Clash of the Castle?
Sometime in June.
Clash at the Castle.
Because I don't think
June 15th.
Yeah, because I don't think July is gonna have a premium live event, is it?
Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah.
So this would be the weekend after NXT Battleground. Also, programming note, we will not be doing a NXT Battleground review, at least not live, like the day of, because I will be en route to moving to Oklahoma that weekend. Weekend of the 9th, the weekend of Battleground, I will be driving halfway cross country. So unfortunately, we will not have a Battleground review that Sunday. Might not even have a Raw review that week as well, because I don't know when we're going to have the internet set up at the house. We got to figure that all out. Because we move in at Monday the 10th.
I mean, I haven't really been keeping up with NXT a lot, but I don't know what this Battleground show is going to have. What's the main event going to be? Trick versus Noam Dar?
I don't know, but I really wanted to see it and review it because it's from the Apex, the UFC venue. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be a very interesting show. And I want to see how it's presented, how they, work with that venue. And if they do any teases of, we're going to do more shows here. That's my whole thing is, yeah, they have the ladder match for the North American Women's Championship with the Women's North American title. But I'm most interested in how they utilize the venue. They're going to get like 9.
Who do you think should
go for it?
Who do you think should win that NXT Women's North American title?
That's a toughie. That's a very tough one. I have a list of who's in it right here. At least I thought I did, but maybe I don't.
Did they even announce who was in it?
Well, they've announced who's in the qualifying matches. They announced the 12 women who will be in the 6 qualifying matches. And I think I have it right here. The list. Yep, I have the list right here. And where did it go? I just had it. So 12 women who... We'll pull this up on the screen. I know we're getting off topic here, but whatever. It happens.
Still WWE.
Right. So these are the 12 women who will be in qualifying matches because they were the 12 best of the combine. So Ruka, Thea Hale, Jada Parker, Brindley Reese, Meechin, Fallon Henley, Lash Legend, Ivy Nile, Izzy Dane, Kalani Jordan, Tatum Paxley, Ren Sinclair. I mean, if I'm just looking at this list right here, screw it. Let me see Thea Hale climb that ladder and win the belt. Give it to Thea Hale.
I was kind of thinking maybe Sol Ruka.
Maybe. I wouldn't be against that. But I could see them going Thea Hale. She's got like good fan base behind her. She's super popular. She's the baby face everyone loves to see. So, but also, I think like she gets close to winning. Well, it's hard to say not knowing who's exactly in the match because I was like, well, maybe Fallon Henley screws her or something. Like she's close and then Fallon Henley tips the ladder or something. I don't know. But yeah, 6 of these 12 women will be in that ladder match come June 9th. I mean, I can already say for sure, it ain't going to be Ren Sinclair. It ain't going to be Meechin probably. Probably not Ivy Nile. Like,
I mean, Meechin will probably be in the match most likely.
Right. I would assume that.
I mean, The only, I mean, I would assume Micha and Ivy Nile will both might be in the match just to have some main roster wrestlers
Right.
in there, but yeah, they're gonna want to put it on someone who's actually like full time NXT.
Correct. That's what I would think.
I would probably say Fallon Henley just to give it to a heel at first.
Not a bad pick. I would have. That was my second choice.
And then maybe have Thea Hale win it as the big baby face.
Oh, I like that. They're doing the whole Fallon turned on Thea, so Fallon wins the belt, but then Thea's the one that takes it from her. I do not hate that idea at all.
That's probably what I would do.
That's a good idea. So as we move forward, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Damage Control were shown entering the building from earlier in the day. They showed up at the same time, which led to a confrontation between Shayna and Io. This then led to, well, Shayna and Io in a match that went over 10 and a half. The match kind of started during the break. I thought we were going to get, like, they teased the shit out of us and pissed me off a little bit. Not really pissed me off, but I was a little upset because they tease NXT version of Shayna Baszler, ruthless, just going after Io before the match even starts. I'm like, oh yes, this is Shayna we've been wanting, and then she just gets beat. Good match with Io, but then it's just like I felt like I wouldn't say Io dominated the match, but once we came back from the break and actually got the match, I didn't see that fire in Shayna that much that we saw before the match started, I guess you would say.
I mean, yeah, they'd like definitely tease like NXT Shayna Baszler, but then
and then in the match she was just main roster Shayna Baszler, no different than any other woman on the main roster. The match started during the break after everything got, calmed down from the Shayna attack before the break. This guy dumped Baszler over the top rope and hit a springboard moonsault, leading to another break a couple minutes later. Sky hit a springboard dropkick and a running double knee. Got a 2 off of it. Baszler tried to get her knees up on a moonsault attempt, but Sky saw it coming. Sky then kicked Baszler and tried to cradle her, but Baszler reversed into a careful clutch. Sky reversed that into a crossface, but Baszler fought out and hit a running knee for a 2. Baszler then went for another knee strike, but Sky hit a dragon screw. A lot of Baszler looking like she's going to get some offense, and then Io reversing it, countering it, and all that jazz. She then hits a Meteora in the corner, moonsault, and just pins Shayna in the middle. 1, 2, 3. Crowd liked the match, so that was a positive. I liked the match. I thought it was a good match, but it's like, damn, they should have gave a little more to Shayna. At least I wish that they would have. So,
I mean,
go for it.
I mean, I kind of thought Io was going to win, but
Yeah.
Would it be a bad idea if they had Shayna go down to NXT for a little bit, just like build her up a little more?
Not at all. She's been down there working with the whole in the what's her name? The Natty and I can't think of her name all of a sudden. Lola Vice feud. She's been like cornering and being like friends with Lola Vice in NXT the last like 3 weeks. She's been down there, and then she had a match last week. I can't remember. Brindley Reese, I think she faced. Who is her name? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah. So she's been down in NXT the last couple of weeks, but it's like, I don't know what they're doing with her. So Jackie Redmond, after the match, interviews Io Sky. Sky looks in the mic and says that she would win in Japanese. I think that's what she said, at least. Her and Lyra cut promos after their matches and didn't speak English. Like, Lyra spoke English, but then she said something in, like, I think they said it was Gaelic. Some sort of, I don't know. But yeah, I liked the whole interview after the match thing. I do like that. I thought that was cool. Like right in the middle of the ring. Like, congratulations, you just won. What's next? What are you going to do? Da-da-da. So there was a QR code that flashed on the screen during this match. And apparently, if you look at the thing, there's a bunch of images of these pieces of paper on the floor. And one says something about like at 5:45 this week on Twitch, there's going to be something going. I don't know. That's just what one of the pieces of paper said. So very interesting tease on the QR codes. Also, people thought that the papers in the images were in Alexa Bliss's house. They're not. If you look at the linoleum linoleum, not real wood, that is under the papers in the photos. And then you look at pictures from that Alexis posted from her house. Those are tiles. So they're not the same flooring at all. They look similar, but they're not the same at all. Like, someone sent me a deal and it's like, look, they're the same floor. And within like half a second, I said, no, they're not. I can see the difference right there. One's linoleum and the pieces are butted up right like this. The other one's tile and you can see the grooves in between with the my mind just go blank with the grout. So yeah, not the same. Carmen Petrovich, thank you, not Brinley Reese. Thank you, Kid Vicious. A lot of those newer women in NXT, because I don't watch every single week, but I try to watch most weeks. I kind of just get them all mixed up because like it's like, okay, which one's Brinley Reese, which one's Carmen Petrovich, which one's this, which one's that, you know. It's like they haven't done a good job, at least to me, to make all these women stand out so I can tell this person's this person's this. They have with some, like Kalani Jordan. They've done a great job with having her stand out. I will say that for sure.
Is that Santino's daughter?
No, Santino's daughter is Ariana Grace.
I know they've done a decent job with her having her stand out.
And she is basically the NXT version of she's like NXT's Chelsea Green character, like comic relief kind of character.
I thought you were about to say Santina.
No. So moving forward, Carlito was with Judgment Day, and they were approached by Priest. Carlito said that they could use extra muscle with Rhea Ripley out. Priest said that the rest of Judgment Day could work with Carlito if they wanted, but as far as he's concerned, Carlito's not welcome here. Carlito knew that Priest didn't trust him, but he thought, hey, at least I got the trust of the boys. Carlito said that even the most stubborn minds can be changed, and maybe one day they can all become amigos. As we learned later, Carlito is the new JD McDonough, trying to prove himself and get the approval and do whatever he can to help Judgment Day. And again, like I said, get the approval of Damian Priest. So I feel like they're just rehashing the JD stuff, but now with Carlito. What do you think of this whole Carlito wants to be part of Judgment Day, or at least friendly with Judgment Day?
It's going to be interesting. It really is. Like, I honestly thought before the draft, they were going to have Carlito join Legado, do Legado versus LWO.
Nah. They did the whole, all the Lucha guys, all the Mexican wrestlers together in one big storyline. Now it's time to just go their separate ways. To be completely honest. Now it's time to just let the Mexican guys do their own thing. You don't have to lump all the Mexicans together.
Yeah. I mean, also, I was not a big fan of them putting Dragon Lee in the LWO.
I had somebody tell me, because I sent a tweet tonight stating, so is Carlito the new JD? And someone had the nerve to say, no, he's actually working for the LWO to infiltrate the Judgment Day. So you're telling me that he attacked Dragon Lee for the LWO? What? That makes no sense. Esports Gaming, thank you for the bit donation. He says, congratulations on moving to Oklahoma. Hope you learn on surviving tornadoes in Oklahoma. Just use surviving earthquakes in California, Tim. I'm going to say right now, earthquakes are not as big of a deal as they make them out to be. I've lived through many earthquakes. When I was 3 years old, there was a really bad earthquake in LA. Apparently, I never felt it because I was jumping on the bed. My mom said I was jumping on her bed through the whole earthquake and never felt it. So I've slept through many earthquakes here as well. So it's like, when people go, oh my God, earthquake in California, yeah, we got to worry. No. Plus, I lived in Texas for like 4 years. You can get tornadoes there sometimes as well. Not that big of a thing. At least not where I was. So.
I don't know. Is it really like hard to feel earthquakes?
I mean, I felt them for sure.
I've only felt one though.
I remember one time we were sitting in our living room and like we kind of felt something. And I'm like, was that an earthquake? And then the aftershock came and it shook the lamp in our living room. I'm like, oh, yep, that was an earthquake.
I only felt one. But other than that, I don't think I felt any other ones.
Yeah.
At least to my knowledge.
Like we've had some bad earthquakes here, like 6 point whatever. Didn't do no damage to any of my place, family, or friends' place. And it wasn't, I mean, they make them out to seem like a bigger deal than they are. Like, granted, there have been really bad earthquakes. Like, there was one in San Francisco in the late 80s that destroyed half the city. But it's like, for the most part, they're not that bad, at least that I've experienced. So,
as far as like tornadoes, though, like I don't think I've ever seen one, but there was one like in a small town, like 10 minutes away from where I live, that like destroyed the majority of the town.
Gotcha.
I've never seen one though.
Hank says, yeah, tornado, not a big deal in my area. No, but big ass golf ball size hail is a big deal in your area. My buddy John, if you look at his car, it's completely all dented up from about a month and a half ago when you guys got really bad hail. And then when I was in Dallas 3 weeks ago, it hailed really bad again when I was there. He said, oh, yeah. Yeah, no. Like, I saw hail in Dallas like this big. Like, big hail.
I don't even know what we're really like known for as far as extreme weather.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't really know. We're known for like being really hot or being really cold. We never have that consistent weather.
True. So Chad Gable was in the back with Alpha Academy, just berating them again. Gable told Maxine, you blew it in the Queen of the Ring. And he was embarrassed by it. Gable then said that they could make things up tonight, though. Gable got matches for Otis and Tozawa. He initially said that Otis was going to face Bronson Reed, and then goes, no, never mind. You need to face Sami Zayn. You need to face Sami Zayn, because I need someone that can soften up Sami Zayn for me before we go to Saudi Arabia. So, yeah, Tozawa, you'll face Bronson Reed. Gable then wanted everybody to be serious tonight. He said, Otis, no dancing, no swiveling of the hips or any of that, and Otis understood. Gable wanted to hear him say that he understood, and Otis said, quote, no matter what. Gable then told Tozawa not to blow it against Reed. Ivy Nile then approached after the rest of Alpha Academy left. Nile said that she could have helped train her for the Queen of the Ring tournament, Maxine that is. And Dupree said that Gable didn't want her training outside of the academy. Nile told Dupree she didn't have to listen to Gable. Gable then came back and told Dupree, go train or do something else, anything else. Gable then said he's going to give some free advice to Ivy Nile. Quote, stop wasting time with Taylor not so swift. I was like, what? Okay. That was an interesting line. So, yeah, this all led later to, well, a slap heard around the world. Any thoughts on this segment?
I thought the Taylor not so swift line was pretty funny.
Yeah. It caught me off guard. I was like, wait, what did he say?
It was funny, though. It's something different.
Yeah. Kathy Kelly interviewed the New Day backstage. Kingston is in the tournament, and Xavier Woods is on a crutch because he was injured by Gunther. Kingston said that tonight was about payback and giving Gunther what he deserved for what he did to Woods. Kingston went toe-to-toe with the greatest luchador of all time, Rey Mysterio, and it reminded him that, well, there's no room for fear, self-doubt, or failure in this ring. He knew that the tournament meant a lot to Xavier Woods, and he was going to win it for Woods. Woods says the king of the ring brought honor, but he couldn't defend that honor because of Gunther. Gunther would get his ass beat by one of the greatest champions of all time in Kofi Kingston later tonight. And then they said, because, well, New Day rocks. Then we get a really cool segment. So we learned before Raw went on the air that Lillian Garcia was actually at the building, former legendary WWE ring announcer Lillian Garcia. And so before the Kofi Gunther match, Lillian Garcia is introduced to the live crowd by Samantha Irving. She then introduces Kofi Kingston for his upcoming match against Gunther. I thought this was really, really cool. Go to break. When we come back, R-Truth met with Pierce backstage. Miz approached them and was nervous that Truth put them in another tag title situation without talking to him. Pierce assured him they weren't defending the titles tonight, but just needed to know that, you know, they're all good and this and that and whatnot. And Miz is like, okay, cool, but I'm still nervous on what's coming next. And it's like, well, you should always be a little nervous because you got titles and you got to defend those titles eventually. Kiana James then enters the ring. She looked forward to working under Adam Pearce and would prove why she was the 1%. Pearce told her not to hesitate to contact him. James says that he doesn't hesitate, or she doesn't hesitate. She adjudicates. Truth didn't know what that meant and thought her comment was not PG. This is all right. What did you think of all this?
It was kind of just there.
Yeah, just shoehorn some truth joking into the show, I guess. Wasn't one of the better ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Actually, Truth had a really good one this weekend at a live event they posted on social media where A-Town Down was making their entrance, and then Truth comes out, and he thought it was his entrance, and A-Town Down turned around because, you know, they do the thing where Austin Theory's like this looking at the stage, and then he does the turnaround. He goes, yeah. And he turns around, and Truth goes, wait, you're not Miz. And he looks over at...
he goes, wait, you're not Grayson.
Was that what he said?
Oh. No, is that Truth that said that?
Yeah. I thought Truth was like, you're not Miz. And then he looked at Grayson Waller. Right. He looked at Grayson Waller and goes, you're not Miz either. And then Miz runs out and grabs him. He's like, Truth, we already had a match tonight. What are you doing? And he pulls him in, and there's DIY standing there. And he goes, it's the Heartbreak Kid and the Cerebral Assassin. And Ciampa's just like, yep, that's us. But then Johnny played it up. I thought it was funny.
That was funny, actually. I did see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like our Truth though, like, is like not really getting over with the fans as he used to, like on TV?
I would say that's a tough question. I think he's hit or miss because I feel like a lot of the jokes are good, but then there's those ones that are just really bad, like tonight.
I don't know, because sometimes I've seen people say like he was over like a few months ago, but now ever since they won the belt, they really haven't been over as much.
I think it's because it does feel like now they're trying a little too hard to shoehorn him into things every single week. We don't need it every week. So, and that's the thing. Sometimes if you don't get something 1 week and there's like a 2-week grace period or a 1 week grace period where you don't see Truth, but then he comes to like a week or two later and you get the Truth joke or whatever, and it's just like, oh, that was funny. I haven't seen Truth in a couple of weeks. Like, sometimes you don't need it every single week. This is my opinion. So we did have Kofi Kingston versus Gunther, and boy, did Gunther beat his ass. Man. So Kingston attacks Gunther before the match starts, specifically targeting his leg. Kingston drove Gunther's leg into the ring post and drop kicked it into the rope. With Gunther down and favoring his leg, the referee thought that this was a good time to just start the match. Kind of weird, but whatever. Kingston then hit a diving leg drop for a 2. Like, he didn't even go to Gunther and be like, you good? You ready to go? You want to? And nope, he's just bing, bang, boom, we're going. So, where was I? Kingston tried a suicide dive, but Gunther caught him and proceeded to give Kingston just a beating of a lifetime. Gunther dropped him back first onto the barricade and the announce table. Gunther applied a Boston Crab on the announce table as they went to a commercial break. Gunther remained in control until Kingston started going after his leg again. Gunther blocked an SOS attempt, and Kingston hit a flying crossbody. Gunther applied a Boston Crab, but Kingston slipped out and hit an SOS for a 2. Gunther then drop kicked Kingston's back and clotheslined him for a 2 of his own. Gunther wrapped Kingston around the ring post and stretched him. But Kingston eventually blocked a powerbomb attempt and flung Gunther into the post. Kingston then follows up with Trouble in Paradise outside the ring, and Gunther just barely beat the 10 count to get back in. Gunther avoided a Trouble in Paradise in the ring and hit a powerbomb. Kingston kicked out, but Gunther immediately transitioned the powerbomb into the Boston Crab, and Kingston had no choice but to tap out. I thought it was a really good match. Crowd was super into this match, but it's like at no point in this match did I feel that Kofi could win. And I feel like I didn't do Kofi any favors. It really just felt like Gunther's beating his ass. Oh, Kofi reversed something really quick. But nope, Gunther's right back on him already. So good match. I will say that for sure. I enjoyed the match 100%. But I just felt a little bit like it could have gave Kofi just a smidge more. What'd you think?
I mean, yeah. But, oh yeah, did you also see that fans were complaining about two of the King of the Ring King Queen of the Ring matches took place at live events and LA Knight had to say something?
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, you don't have time for everything on TV. Plus, it means, hey, you're going to see something that's actually meaningful at a live event. And I liked the way they split it up. The Raw ones were on Sunday. The SmackDown ones were on Saturday. So both nights of live events, you got tournament matches that were important. I liked that. I liked that a lot.
I honestly kind of thought Ray was going to beat Kofi, but
no, the story made more sense with Kofi winning because he was, the reason Woods isn't in the tournament is because of Gunther. So you get that Gunther-Kofi match.
Yeah, but it also kind of made sense because it wasn't going to affect Ray whatsoever.
Well, I mean, to be completely honest, it didn't matter who won because Gunther was winning either way. Like, Gunther's going to win. No one thought Gunther wasn't at least making the Raw finals. So,
who do you think should be in the finals? I think it should be like Gunther and Carmelo Hayes.
It's a tough one. Because I could see it being Jey Uso. I want Gunther to win the whole thing. I will say that for sure. I want Gunther to win the entire King of the Ring. But there's something in me that's like, I could see them going Jey Uso. Like in the finals. And then on the SmackDown side,
I think it should be Carmelo Hayes, though.
I don't know. Hell, give me Jey Uso versus Randy Orton in the finals.
No, I think at King and Queen of the Ring, they should do Randy, Kevin Owens, and LA Knight versus the Bloodline.
Why LA Knight?
Because aren't they doing Tama Tonga versus LA Knight?
Oh, yeah, true. That could lead to something.
Have Tonga Loa screw over LA Knight.
Yeah.
And then you add LA Knight to the mix of feuding with the Bloodline.
James already said I'm moving the weekend of June 9th. Be there by Monday the 10th. Well, we can be there by the 11th, but the first day we can actually be in the new house is the 10th. So we're either getting there the 10th or the 11th.
Here's how they should do the SmackDown side.
Go for it.
Have Tama Tonga beat LA Knight, and then you could maybe have like the Bloodline screw over Randy against Carmelo Hayes. I don't know. Or maybe they beat up Randy so badly where Carmelo beats him because Randy was 100%. And then in the finals where you do Carmelo Hayes versus Tama Tonga, you can have maybe Kevin Owens or LA Knight, or all three of them. Have all three, Randy, Kevin Owens, and LA Knight, screw over Tama Tonga. Carmelo Hayes advance to the finals, and then you set up that 6-man tag for Saudi.
It's actually not a bad idea at all. I like that. But then some people may go, well, didn't we already see, the regular tag match? Because what people are going to complain about is, well, we already saw the regular tag match that turned into a street fight at the last pay-per-view. So what is this one going to be? Just a straight up 6-man with no stip? That's what people are going to complain about, I believe. But I like the idea. I think getting there and all that makes a lot of sense.
I get it, but at the same time, it's like we need to see like this new Bloodline,
right?
Like team as a trio, and I think this is a good first step.
I had a prediction. What if this new Bloodline is not what we think? Solo has been speaking to Roman, so they're still technically working together. What if Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, Jacob Fatu, maybe Hikuleo, all turn on Solo start their own version of the Bloodline, their Bullet Club in WWE, and then it becomes Tama Tonga's Bloodline versus Roman Reigns' Bloodline of War Games. That's how you get your 4-on-4. Jay comes back to help the original Bloodline, so it's Roman, Jay, Jimmy, and Solo. And then on the other side, it could be Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Jacob Fatu, and Hikuleo if they sign Hikuleo, which they've wanted Hikuleo. And his deal's up in June.
I think there's a good chance to get Hikuleo if they're still interested.
Yeah, same here. Because everyone's how do you get? Because everyone's asking, how do you get 4-4 for War Games if that's the route they go? Well, there you go. You actually have all the new guys turn on Solo. We know Solo and Roman are still good, and then Solo goes back with Roman in the original Bloodline. So that's just my prediction, fantasy booking. But Esports Gaming rules here with another bit donation. He says, many fans want Ilya versus Gunther for free, but WWE want to possibly save it for Berlin because of their WXW Germany connection and the possible NXT Europe announcement. Well, I think it has nothing to do with WXW or NXT Europe or any of that. It's just like, you're not getting the first main roster Gunther Dragunov on a Raw. And to say they want it for free, I mean, you can get goddamn Peacock for $5. It's not even like you're spending, it's not an AEW pay-per-view you got to spend $50 for. So, yeah. Go in the back.
I mean,
go for it.
I was gonna say this like before.
Go for it.
Like there also is that rumor that WWE is worried that Fatu is gonna outshine Solo, so maybe that's another reason why you have this other separate bloodline with Tama Tonga as the leader.
Well, if you ever watched Jacob Fatu match, he's leaps and bounds the better wrestler. He may be better than like most of them. Like you've seen a man his big doing moonsaults off top of a cage. I don't think so.
But do you think in this new bloodline, if that's the route they go, do you think they'd want to have like two huge guys against like Solo as their only like enforcer?
No, because like Hikuleo is tall, but he's not like a big enforcer type like you would say for Solo or Jacob. Hikuleo's just tall. How tall is Hikuleo? Because I feel like he's not much taller than Roman. Hikuleo height. Hikuleo is 6'8". Oh, Roman's not that tall. Roman's like 6'5". Roman's 6'3". I thought Roman was taller than that. There's no way. This gotta be wrong. Randy Orton is not 2 inches taller than Roman Reigns. Is that true? This says Roman Reigns is 6'3", Randy Orton 6'5". No.
Nah.
There's no way. Randy's 2 inches taller than Roman. Hold on, I'm gonna look something. Roman Reigns.
Jeez, Roman's only 6'3". He's basically my height.
All you tall guys got to stick together.
I mean, 6'3" with shoes on.
Well, depending on who measures me, like in the army, it was like when one person would measure me, I'd be 5'9", but then another person would measure me and I'd be 5'10". So it depends on who measures me. I'm either 5'9" or 5'10". I see a picture here of the two of them together. Roman is at least, or I don't know, because it's hard to tell on camera because of camera angles. Because like there's one here that they look the same. And there's one here that Randy does look about an inch taller. So again, it's all camera angles, to be honest. It's hard to tell unless they're like actually posing next to each other. But anywho, Jackie Redmond interviews Lyra Valkyria. Lyra said that she sent a message to Damage Control last week, and they better get used to her. Lyra also had Becky Lynch's back. Lynch appeared and wished her good luck. Lynch then left, and in comes Liv Morgan. Morgan said that Lyra would have fun on being on Monday Night Raw, and Lyra appreciated that. Morgan then asked her if Becky's always been such a bitch. And I was like, ooh, that line did not come out well. Like the way she was like, has Becky always been such a bitch? And I'm just like, okay, the delivery of that, it's like she's trying to be a heel. This whole heel run of Liv Morgan, it's coming off a little too forced for me. And anyways, Lyra's just like, I don't know, ask her yourself. She then turns around. Becky softly punches her in the jaw. She slightly crumbles. And then the camera gets tight on her and she's like, my jaw. I wasn't a fan of this. What'd you think?
I mean, I'm just not a big fan of Liv being a heel. I think she's much better as a babyface than she is a heel.
Well, that's for sure. And I just feel like everyone's got to eventually make that make that shift. Be a heel, be a baby, be a heel, be a bit, whatever. But it's like right now, the whole thing with Liv, it feels way too forced. The Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. It's like, I don't know. Then we got a weird segment. Kofi's walking in the back. He's all hurt. And he's like, oh. And all of a sudden he passes carrying Cross. And Cross goes, Kofi. Kofi's like. And then Cross is like, you had a tough loss tonight. And said that there was always time to turn things around. He walks off. And you hear, Kof. And Woods comes up. He's all hobbling along with his crutch. A bag of ice. He goes, I got that ice you needed. Well, what was that with Cross? He's like, I really don't know. I guess they're going to do something with Final Testament and the New Day. I don't know what, but they teased something.
I mean, I kind of felt like Final Testament should have had a longer run in NXT for a little bit.
Yeah, they were just down there for for all we know, they could be doing more down there because they did a couple of things, but not much yet. So for all we know, they could do more. Weren't they just on the show last week? Pretty sure they were on NXT last week.
They were on spring break-in.
Pretty sure they were on last week too. Because didn't they? No, because there was a number one contender tag title deal, and Alchem and Razor were in it, I believe.
I don't remember that. I remember it was Authors of Pain versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the tag titles, and New Catch Republic screwed them over.
I remember that. What was last week? Oh, you're right. It was spring break-in. What was I thinking? I don't even know what I was thinking then. Anywho, Zawa wasn't thinking when he got his ass beat in 1 minute and 12 seconds. Bronson Reed hit him with Dead by Driver Tsunami, and then Gable talked down to Zawa afterwards. Nothing to it but to do it. Kathy Kelly approached Gunther backstage for an interview, but he kind of just blew her off. Ludwig Kaiser took the interview instead. Kelly mentioned that Ilya Dragunov beat Gunther the last time they actually wrestled. That same fate be coming again. Well, Gunther's win over Jey Uso was partially thanks to Jimmy Uso. Gunther's win over Sheamus last week, well, was all thanks to him, in part to Kaiser. Kaiser reminded her that Gunther was the most successful Intercontinental Champion of all time. Sheamus was delusional if he ever thought that he lost to Gunther thanks to him. No, Gunther beat him. Sheamus had accomplished a lot, but never beaten Gunther. If Sheamus had a problem, Kaiser would fight him himself. Basically, he said, I'll expose Sheamus. I'd love to see a Ludwig Kaiser Sheamus match. That match would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I would love to see the match as well. I really want to see them do more with Ludwig as a singles guy now that he's no longer with Giovanni Vinci.
Yes, 100%. They teased it, 6 months ago? There was like a random solo Ludwig Kaiser I'm in France video. And then that never went anywhere.
I'm also kind of curious how they use Giovanni Vinci as a singles guy on SmackDown.
I'm kind of worried. He's gonna get either nothing or beat up a lot. Honestly, I'd send him back to NXT, but they already drafted him to SmackDown.
I think they should put him in NXT. I mean, at least when he was a singles guy during the 2.0 era, they actually did something with him.
Right.
But now that he's on SmackDown as a singles guy, I'm like, he's going to get beat up a lot.
So,
he's probably going to get that Cameron Grimes treatment, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, don't say that. Cameron Grimes got to let go.
Not let go, but at least when he was on the main roster.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I don't want him to get fired or anything.
No. So Jackie Redmond is in Adam Pearce's office. She's like, so, Adam Pearce, you got a big announcement regarding the tag titles? And then all of a sudden, Tyler Bate barges in, pulling Pete Dunne with him. And he was just like, I want to say thank you for the opportunity that you've given us being here on Raw. And then Pierce is like, by all means, I love to have you here, and I can't wait to see what you guys do. And then Dunn grabs bait and yanks him out of the office. Kind of an awkward little deal here. I don't know why it was needed anyways. And Pierce then announced later on tonight, we'll have a fatal four-way tag team match where the winners will become the new #1 contenders for the tag titles. It'll be New Catch Republic, the Authors of Pain, the Creed Brothers, and then Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And then we get old Braun Breaker.
I actually did not see this scene because I'm pretty sure I was taking the trash out, so I didn't see this part.
Oh, do I have some shit to say? So, Braun Breaker barges in and after Kathy Kelly was like, so you spoke with Braun Breaker last week about him not being in the King of the Ring. Can you elaborate on that? And Breaker barges in. And Braun said that his opportunity in King of the Ring would have been, Braun is then told, I didn't want to throw you into the deep end because I didn't think you were ready. I said, what? He said that he would have watched him, or Braun said, that's not true. I would have watched them all drowned and smile while doing so. He said, quote, I should have been in the damn tournament. So Adam Pearce, the Raw general manager who fought for weeks to try and sign Braun Breaker before the draft, thought, I can't put this guy in the King of the Ring because he's not good enough. I can't throw him in the deep end with these competitors. Yet, Ilya Dragunov is good enough to be in the King of the Ring. Lyra Valkyria is good enough to be in the Queen of the Ring. Two other recent call-ups from NXT. Let's look at the stats and the numbers. I did some research. Lyra Valkyria, former NXT Women's Champion, for only 164 days. One title reign. Ilya Dragunov, former NXT Champion, for only 206 days. One title reign.
Hang on.
What?
NXT UK Champion as well.
Fuck that. No one remembers that. But you can say that. No.
It means something. It means something, okay?
So it does, but how often was he actually defending that belt for 319 days? He did hold that title for 319 days, but how often was he defending that title? How often were we seeing him on actual TV? That's the thing. Most main roster fans don't even know about that, or barely know about that. Anyways, Braun Breaker. 2 different title reigns, one for 63 days, one for 361 days, for a total 424 days. Plus, he's a former tag team champion in NXT and won the Dusty Cup. Who had the better run in NXT? Throw Lyra out of this. She's in the Queen. It's whatever. You're telling me that Adam Pearce thinks that Ilya Dragunov is better than Braun Breaker? I can see the argument, but I would at least argue equal. So for him to say, well, Braun, I couldn't just throw you in the deep end like that because you weren't ready, means that the fans shouldn't care a lick about Braun Breaker. The fans should be like, oh, well, if Adam Pearce don't think this guy's ready for any big opportunity, why should I care about him? Well, then I had somebody, some moron on Twitter go, you're not looking deep enough. He's holding him back because he initially signed with SmackDown over Raw and Adam Pearce is salty. And I go, so you're trying to make sense of it. You're adding a story beat to it that they haven't even teased. Yeah, try again. Then somebody goes, well, he's not in King of the Ring because he's going to get a bigger opportunity and Money in the Bank. If the GM thinks that he's not good enough for King of the Ring, why would the GM think that he is good enough for Money in the Bank, which is technically supposed to be considered a bigger opportunity? So I tweet that. And then the guy that says that he could be in Money in the Bank goes, oh, maybe he could force his way in and get Pearce to, get Pearce to Adam by forcing his way in there and intimidating Adam Pearce. And I said, excuse me? So he thinks he's Roman Reigns, his undisputed champion? No, because then if that happens, then that makes your general manager look weak, and it makes it seem as if anybody can just walk all over Adam Pearce as a general manager. I hated how so many people on Twitter tried to make this story more than it is. And now I get it. We got to let it play out. It's only 1 week of knowing what's going on. Adam Pearce didn't think that Braun Breaker was ready for an opportunity such as the King of the Ring. But in saying that on television, you are telling the fans right now, you shouldn't care about this guy because he is not at the level of an Ilya Dragunov, of a Kofi Kingston, of a Ricochet, of a Gunther Jey Uso, of a Tama Tonga who just got here less than a month ago. So, yeah, doesn't make sense why Braun Breaker wasn't in the tournament. Now, if the plan is Braun's not in the tournament because he's going to end up in Money in the Bank, okay, cool. But you shouldn't have told us that he's not good enough, King of the Ring. Because now you put him in Money in the Bank, hypothetically. No one is going to give two shits about him in Money in the Bank after Pearce said that you're going to get thrown in the deep end and you're not going to be able to hang. You got any thoughts on this? I know you said you didn't see it, but now that I've explained it, what do you think?
I kind of just made Braun Breaker look weak.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest.
If you're going to say that he can't hang with main roster talent, then why'd you call him up? Why is he not still in NXT then? That's basically what they said. 1 second. Basically what they said is, you're good, but I don't think your main roster good yet. Then why call him up? Why fight so hard over Nick Aldis to try and sign him and then get mad when Nick signed him over? Makes no sense. Go for it. Sorry to cut you off.
Or it's okay. Or unless it's like a way just to motivate Braun. I don't know.
Motivate him how? Commentary's been talking now. He's a beast. Commentary, they did that video saying that he's got better stats than anybody. His 40 is this, and his bench is this, and he runs 46 miles an hour in the ring, and da-da-da. It's like, okay, that sounds like a guy that you're trying to put over better than most. And then the general manager come out here and say that he's not good enough? No. You literally just told the fan base so they shouldn't care about Braun Breaker. At least not right now. So, yeah. Dumb. Oh, yeah, a bit donation from Esports Gaming Rules. He says, Braun could be a, quote, Vince guy who tried to destroy Triple H's NXT. Remember, he destroyed the Golden X. No. You saying that they're going to call? No. There's no, this is Triple H's main roster versus Vince's main roster, and Braun's going to be a Vince guy. No, they're not. There's Vince's referencing Vince, mentioning Vince. Vince is a banned everything in that company. So yeah, thank you for the bit donation, but no, not even close. There's no, he could be a Vince guy. So now you're trying to say Vince is going to have a stable of guys. There's going to be a stable of guys, or there's going to be guys that they're going to say, oh, they're Vince McMahon guys, not Triple H. Yeah, that ain't ever happening. That ain't ever happening at all.
I'm pretty sure Triple H liked Braun Breaker just as much as Vince did when Vince was running NXT.
That's what I heard. Triple H was very, very high on Braun Breaker.
And I don't know, like the whole Golden X thing, wasn't that just like try to make 2.0 actually mean something?
Yes, that was just to say, hey, this is the new era of NXT. You like the gold, black and gold? Well, that's in the past, and we're kicking that out of here. That's basically all it was. So, speaking of Lyra Valkyria, she took on Zoe Stark in an almost 9-minute Queen of the Ring quarterfinal match. This went through a break early on. Not much happened before the break. After the break, Lyra fought back when they returned and spiked Stark with a tornado DDT. She had counters and moves and this and that until Stark hit a reverse suplex for a 2. Lyra then hit a spinning heel kick, but Stark suplexed her into the turnbuckle for a 2. Lyra blocked a Z360, hit the Nightwing, and pinned her to pick up the victory. I will say, she did the Nightwing better this week. Last week when she hit that Nightwing, it felt like, I'm just going to softly plant you. This week, she slammed Zoe down. So, this match was all right for what we saw. Again, like I said, it went almost 9 minutes. We saw maybe half of it. Wasn't bad. Afterwards, Jackie Redmond interviews Lyra. She called herself a former NXT Women's Champion who's traveled as the crows flew straight to the top. And then I guess Michael Cole said she said something in Gaelic, whatever Gaelic is, some language. And there we go. What do you think of this match?
Well, the match is pretty good. I honestly think maybe Lyra could win the Queen of the Ring tournament.
I'm going Tiffany Stratton. Just think about Tiffany walking around with that crown.
Honestly, Lyra looked pretty cool with that crown as well.
True. Actually, I think it would be pretty good because I think Lyra's making the finals. I think it would be pretty good if we get Lyra versus Tiffany in the finals at King Queen of the Ring.
Why? Because they were in the finals for that NXT Women's Championship match back in the day.
I didn't think of that. I just thought like promoting and pushing two young main roster stars. What bigger way to push them both at the same time as to be like, these two are both in the finals of this tournament. Who's going to come out the better? You know, I just think it's a great way to push them both and build. Like Tiffany's already building up as a star. You're pushing Lyra as a star as well. But I thought it was a good way to push both as stars. I didn't even think about it, but that's a good idea too. You build up that they fought before with the NXT Women's Championship and the history and stuff. I like that.
But just imagine Lyra as the Queen of the Ring, like with her entrance with like the fog and stuff. Imagine that with the crown.
But also, imagine Tiffany, and this is just me fantasy booking. Tiffany goes, I know I'm the queen, but you should still treat me like a princess. And I got my crown. I think it would be great. I think like the gimmick and character there would fit.
I don't know, like there's a few people that I kind of want to win each tournament.
Right.
Like I want Gunther to win, but I also have that other feeling that I kind of want Mello to win, like King Mello.
Hey. I'm gonna give you a trivia question. Who in the King of the Ring tournament's father is a former King of the Ring? Could we
Don't tell me. I'm actually gonna think about this.
I'm just gonna say, could we see son like father, or father like son, whatever it is? There is somebody in this tournament. Their dad is a former King of the Ring.
Was it Rikishi?
No. Close.
Are they still in it?
It's still in the tournament? Yes.
Haku?
Yep. King Haku. Tamatonga's dad. What if we get King Tonga? I doubt it.
No, they won't.
No, he's probably going to lose to Randy in the SmackDown finals. I think it's the finals of SmackDown is going to come down to Randy Orton and Tamatonga, and Randy Orton beats Tamatonga.
I think the finals should be Mello versus Tamatonga.
Could be. Like I did like your idea earlier how the Bloodline maybe screws Randy out. But
because also Mello's like a first round pick for SmackDown.
Yep.
You want to have him make it to the finals and make him look good. You don't want him to lose in the second round.
I agree.
Because then it'd be like, oh, they picked this guy in the first round and he's losing like the second round of the King of the Ring. At least make him look like a top guy.
True. Yeah, because he did lose that first match to Cody, so you can't have him lose again so quickly.
I mean, losing to Cody made sense. Like, yeah, I'm not afraid of anybody, so I'm going to challenge Cody.
Right.
Like that made sense, but you can't have him lose so much.
Exactly.
Already.
So as we move forward, Jey Uso cut a promo backstage. He said that he was in the tournament because McIntyre couldn't cut it. Balor received a yeet down last week. He welcomed Dragunov to Raw, but he said he would also be getting a yeet down just like Gunther will next week. Jey would get the crown and become King of the Ring. Yeet. So then we got a 2-minute match. It was Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn against Otis in a non-title match. All right, hold on. There's still confusion on this damn Jerry Lawler stuff. Jerry Lawler wasn't quote-unquote released by WWE. What happened was they did not renew Jerry Lawler's talent contract. Every January, they normally sign Jerry Lawler to a new talent contract. So that way, if they ever want him on Raw or SmackDown as a commentator to do stuff on a show, they've got him there. They say, hey, you're not working for anybody else. You're working for us. He is no longer on a talent deal with WWE, but Jerry Lawler did sign a Legends deal with WWE, so they'll still be paying him roughly $10,000 a year to be associated with the company. So he was not released. He is always for years now, he has been on a 1-year deal, and this year, and I believe it was a TKO call, why pay this guy if you're not actually using him? Why pay this guy like this if he's not being used? He did the same thing with UFC. They had guys like Chuck Liddell under similar contracts, and when TKO or Endeavor came in and took over UFC, they're like, why are you paying Chuck Liddell? To do what? Make appearances every so often? No. And so they cut that. So it's basically the same thing. It was an Endeavor TKO call to not renew him. They didn't release him. They just didn't renew him. Also, thank you to Elite Tiss for resubscribing as a channel member on YouTube. And then Elite Tiss also with a super chat donation says, I agree, but I'm really worried Jade in the tournament probably is what he meant. Honestly, I think Tiffany beats Bianca. So then we get Bianca versus Jade. But maybe Jade gets like attacked before the match. And so she goes into the match with Tiffany hurt. And that's how Tiffany beats her. Because I don't think Tiffany's going to beat Jade straight up. But I think if Jade goes in hurt or injured, storyline wise, that's how Tiffany beats Jade. I don't know your thoughts on that, on the whole Queen of the Ring SmackDown side. Because I don't think we get Jade and Bianca.
It would be cool, though. I mean,
it would, but it'd be also weird because of the tag team champions, and it's like, the champions have to fight each other. I don't know.
I'm gonna say right now, I don't see anyone on the WWE roster beating these two anytime soon.
For the tag titles, no.
No, they're gonna hold those belts for a while.
Probably.
Like, is there anyone right now worthy of beating Bianca and Jade for the tag titles?
Right now, no.
Exactly. That's the scary part. I mean, it'll be cool that they're gonna have a long title reign, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, no. I think that's how Jade loses. Jade either gets attacked before the match and goes in injured, or somebody who wants to go after her and Bianca for the tag titles screws Jade out of this to piss Jade off and then get Jade to be like, you want to fight me? You want to fight me and Bianca for the tag titles? I think it's going to set up something with the tag titles.
And it's an indie attacking Jade.
Oh, Lord.
They're heels.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have somebody like challenge them.
Do we have any heel tag teams in NXT, maybe? You could do it on all three brands. Maybe an NXT team shows up and screws. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, at least start out with the main roster one first.
Right.
They're the only ones on SmackDown.
Maybe when Asuka gets cleared and Kabuki Warriors want a rematch, and they're the ones that they're mad that Jade and Bianca took the titles from them, so they screw Jade out of the tournament. Maybe it's the Kabuki Warriors, and we get the rematch if Asuka's cleared.
What about Alba Fire and Isla Dawn?
No one would care because we haven't seen them in a while. You need to build them back up first. Just my opinion.
Honestly, I think one of them should go back down to NXT, build them up more.
Elite Tiss says, metaphor. Honestly, no, because I think, as we saw last week on NXT, I think this is all leading to Lash Legend leaving Metaphor and joining Trick, her real life boyfriend. Remember, she called him Babe last week on NXT in the Supernova sessions. She's like, Babe, and they're like, what? If you know, you don't know. Trick and Lash Legend are a real life couple, and it feels like they're slowly building towards them being a couple on TV on NXT television. So I don't know if Lash Legend is long for Metaphor anymore. As far as Sami Zayn versus Otis does go, again, the match only went 2 minutes. Zayn took a big corner bump, which usually leads to Otis doing the caterpillar. Otis couldn't help himself. He started to gyrate even though Gable was yelling at him to not do so. Otis then ripped off the shirt, did the caterpillar anyway. Gable was pissed off, told Otis to go to the ropes. Otis missed a Vader bomb. Zayn hit a haluva kick and pinned him 1, 2, 3. After the match, the match was nothing. It was all the post-match. Gable berated Otis and shoved him in the aisle. He like knocked him on his ass. The crowd booed this until Zayn. Well, no, he shoved him in the ring first. Zayn jumped back in and suplexed Gable. Zayn went for a haluva kick, but Gable bailed. The two, Otis and Gable, were in the aisle. Gable's yelling at Otis some more and eventually slaps Otis. Otis looks like he's getting angry and then ultimately follows Chad Gable to the back. The crowd's not liking this. They want Otis to stand up for himself, but he just can't seem to go against his best friend, Chad Gable. Chad's been there for him. Chad helped ignite him after he kind of started to flounder. And yeah, he's too loyal to Chad Gable to turn on him, no matter how bad Gable treats him, is the story. So once they're slowly building to that turn of Otis eventually standing up to himself, and they're hoping they get that big Hogan pop or whatever. Like, oh my God, he just did it. Yeah. So they're hoping we get that big, tremendous pop off the slow build. They do not want to, what's the word I'm looking for, rush things with this. And I think that's the right move. You don't rush it, because the quicker you do it, or the longer you wait, you don't wait too long, but the longer you wait, the bigger the reaction's going to be. What did you think of all this? The match and the post-match and so forth?
It was decent.
Then we got an interesting segment backstage. Braun Strowman, was putting over the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile. Told them he enjoyed what they're doing. JD McDonough then walks up to Braun, looking straight up at him. McDonough told him that the Judgment Day run Raw, and they didn't appreciate him sticking his nose in their business. McDonough then said, "This is your warning." Strowman was like, "Okay, whatever, little guy." And then, I think the Creed brothers laughed in the background at all this. Any thoughts?
No, it's kind of silly to have JD try to square up with Braun.
That's the whole point. It was supposed to be comical, but at the same time be like, hey, something's going to happen here. We'll give you a little comic relief before the big blow off of it.
Yeah.
So moving forward, we got a 10-minute match that ended in a DQ. It was Women's World Champion Becky Lynch against Dakota Kai. They had a very, I thought, good match here. But then with the, of course, shitty DQ finish. But it's like, okay, Becky wasn't going to lose. They obviously, for some reason, didn't want Dakota getting pinned or tapping out. So, yeah, a little weird on the finish here, but Kai gained control briefly after a distraction, but it didn't matter because Lynch fought back. They were off the mark with one sequence where it seemed like they kind of lost each other for a second, but then they got it back moments later. Kai then missed a running boot in the corner, and Lynch follows up with a thrust kick. After a break, Kai stomped Lynch, and she was draped over the middle rope. Lynch avoided a second attempt and hit a diving leg drop as Kai was draped over the middle rope. Lynch then hit a superplex and transitioned it into an armbar and got a 2 off of it. Kai then tried a few counters of Lynch, but Lynch eventually got her in to disarm her. Sky and Kai then jumped in, beat up Lynch, causing the DQ. Damage Control attacked. Lyra Valkyria came out to make the save. And then in the end, Liv Morgan would jump in, attack Becky Lynch from behind, and throw her into the ring post. Morgan then bailed as Lyra jumped into the ring. So, kind of all felt kind of jumbled together, like 3 different things here, but not horrible, I would say. What did you think of all this?
Not horrible, but it's not great.
Yeah. I just felt like they tried to do a little too much at once.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt.
So, in the back, Jackie Redmond interviewed Ilya Dragunov. He said that it was a dream to be here in this spot. He said that he is here to make a moment out of tonight and future nights to come. He was the czar of the ring. He knew just when to strike. And his win over Ricochet last week, well, it's going to be more of the same tonight with Jey Uso. So he said that he let us all know that he beat Gunther once before. And so next week, he thinks he'll beat Gunther again. Gunther suddenly would appear, smiled like, you think you got me once, so you ain't going to get me again. And then Gunther walks off. So not much here other than they teased something between Gunther and Dragunov. But that's not what we're getting. So next up, we had the Fatal 4-Way for the tag title shot. Truth and Miz watched at ringside. Again, it was New Catch Republic, Authors of Pain, the Judgment Day, and the Creed brothers. So AOP stood tall early on in this match over everybody. They launched McDonough over the top rope, throwing him on a bunch of people on the outside, which did lead to our first commercial break. Not much happened before the break. After the break, AOP was still standing tall in the ring, but Balor and McDonough were in control a little bit. Julius Creed tagged in and gave Balor and McDonough doubled Northern Light suplexes. Balor came back with a sling blade and a running dropkick. Dunn and Bate then wiped out AOP with some dives, and Julius ran up the ropes and hit Balor with a nice superplex for a 2. AOP then powerbombed Balor and McDonough before chucking Dunn and Bate from the ring. Brutus Creed then literally overhead sort of side suplex to Occam, wiping out Razor in the process as well. I'm like, oh man, this man is strong. Dunn and even Julius, because he kind of just threw them all at everybody. He hit a Brutus ball at one point as well to the outside. Dunn then gave Occam an airplane spin, showing how he's a strong boy, as they call him, the strong boy. Crowd loved this spot. Dunn and Bate then gave Balor a double team suplex, but McDonough broke up the cover. Bate wiped them all out with a dive. Dunn then went after McDonough on the table and was attacked from behind by Carlito. This man, Carlito, took a goddamn backstabber on the table, doing more harm to yourself than your opponent. Go for it.
He looked hurt. He looked hurt in this. Like, he actually looked like he actually hurt himself. Like it didn't even look like he was trying to sell anything. He actually looked like he might have hurt himself.
Yeah, like not like, oh, I've injured myself, but like he took that bump and it was probably like, oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, it didn't even look like anything he was trying to sell. It looked like he actually hurt himself.
Like he took that bump flat on that table and went, oh, fuck me. Yeah.
Basically.
No. Yeah. No. But hey, also, could it have been that he thought the table was going to break? And it's been
probably
because think about it. Randy Orton's been doing that where he's done the RKO on the tables and the table's not breaking. And then he does the whole, fuck. Because like I know when he did it to iShow Speed at WrestleMania, the table was supposed to break and it didn't. Then he did it at Backlash and the table didn't break again. So I don't know if maybe they need to less reinforce these announce tables or what. Because if he would have if the table would have broke, it would have absorbed some of that and it wouldn't have hurt him so much. Anyways, everyone was talking about that on Twitter. Everybody. But where was I? Yeah, Carlito did the backstabber on the table. McDonough then headbutted Bate and tossed Dunn into the ring. Balor hit him with a coup de grace and pinned him as JD and Finn are now the new number 1 contenders to face Awesome Truth for the tag titles. And I think this is the right call. Yes, it's not the same people that Awesome Truth beat for the tag titles at WrestleMania in the ladder match, but it's still Judgment Day getting their rematch. So I like it. I think JD and Finn as a tag team is great. I think they work really well together. They got their history of decades. So yeah, I'm all for this. Honestly, I'd like to see them get the tag titles. And so now, everybody that is healthy in Judgment Day has a championship. What do you think of all this?
Honestly, I expected Judgment Day to win this.
Right. Me too.
But my whole thing is, how long would they hold the belts for? Because if they're gonna go the route of like having Finn possibly turn on Damian, would you do it while they're holding the tag belts?
I don't see why not, because if they're gonna turn on, if Finn's gonna turn on Damian, it's gonna be all of Judgment Day turning on Damian, not just or at least I think whatever Finn does, JD follows. So if they're the tag champions together, then they both eventually turn on Damian Priest. I don't think it's just going to be Finn and JD says, oh, I'm Judgment Day. I'm not with you, Finn. No, because of their history, he's going to always back Finn. So I think them being the tag champions, bad idea.
Yeah. But And then depending on how long Dominic is out, you can just have Dominic. It would be interesting just to have Dominic not be involved or something.
Word is Dom don't need surgery 6 to 8 weeks from the injury, so Dom could be back in before SummerSlam.
Or have you still have Dom with Damian though?
Oh, Dom will stay with Damian, I believe. I do think so. Then you can have Dom and Damian, JD and Finn, and you go from there. So I do like that dynamic. We'll go to the back.
Then, like,
go for it.
So, like, would you still call Finn and JD Judgment Day, or would you like,
no,
or would they all just be like just Finn and JD?
There's be Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Now, I wouldn't like this, but what if Finn turns and starts his own new group, which is his version of a Bullet Club in WWE? Now, I'm not saying they get Tama Tonga and Tangaloa and whatever, but it's just like he starts a Bullet Club-like stable. Guys under him. Because remember, when he started Bullet Club, it was him turning on his former tag team partner, Taguchi. That is exactly how the Bullet Club was formed. Him turning on his former tag team partner, Ryusuke Taguchi. So, in WWE, he turns on his former tag team partner, Damian Priest, and starts this new supergroup.
He's Ryusuke Taguchi. That guy fell off.
Yeah, Taguchi and Finn, I think they were tag team champions together, but I know they were a tag team, and Finn turned on him to start Bullet Club.
Yeah, they were tag champs. I can't remember their tag name. Apollo 55, maybe?
I think so.
54?
I'm looking it up.
It was Apollo 55, I think.
I know they were, so it's, according to Wikipedia, him and Taguchi were 4-time junior tag team champions. Damn, I didn't realize they had them that many times. Whoops, wrong button.
What was it?
Apollo,
It was
Apollo 55.
Yeah.
Yep, Apollo 55.
Yeah, I think they lost the belts to Alex Shelley and Kushida, and that's what led to.
I believe so.
Finn
Yeah,
turning on Taguchi.
that sounds right.
Because I remember they attacked Shelley and Kushida.
Time splitters.
Yep.
So yeah, I can see maybe something like that.
Surprised Finn never moved to the heavyweight division. I know he challenged Okada for the belt, but I don't think he actually moved to the heavyweight division while he was in Bullet Club.
Left too soon for WWE.
I was kind of surprised he left New Japan for WWE. I think a lot of people were.
I mean, unless he felt like he was slotted in that junior division and was never going to be made an official heavyweight, I could see him leaving for that reason, but that's just me speculating.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, I don't even remember Finn ever being in a G1.
No, I don't think he ever was.
Oh, I know. It says 2010 he may have been in the G1. Let me see. I'm looking it up. Where is G1? Oh Lord, Wikipedia. This just put me all the way back to the 70s. I mean the 80s. Looking at G1s. Here we go. 2010. Yeah, Prince Devitt had 8 points in the 2010 G1. That was his first G1. He was not in 2011. Because he came to WWE in what, 13? Yeah, 2013. 14.
It was 14 because that's when AJ left TNA. He worked the Indies for a little bit, then became the leader of Bullet Club.
So it looks like he was only ever in the one G1. 2010. Nope, and 2013, he had 10 points. We did 2 G1s. But it was like, you knew he was never going to be slotted as like a top heavyweight. Not like when Kenny moved up, when Ospreay moved up, and all that. So
And Ibushi.
true, yeah. We go to the back. Speaking of junior heavyweights, Ricochet approaches Ilya Dragunov. I was like, hey, you got me last week. Hell of a match. But next time, it's not going to be the same. We're going to have a different outcome. But go out there, kick some ass. Basically what he told him. He said, get that crown. Then, this is why earlier I asked if Carlito is the new JD McDonough. Damian Priest was with Dominic Mysterio in the back, and he asked if everything was good with Rhea Ripley. Dom didn't actually answer, though, which is interesting. Dom didn't give him an answer. Balor, McDonough, and Carlito then all joined in, very excited over their win. Carlito was worried Priest wouldn't be happy with him, but Priest said, what you did was cool. They were all happy for the moment, at least. And Priest told Carlito, hey, you may need to handle your own business with Mysterio. I'm not interested in helping you. Maybe these guys want to, but again, what you did tonight, that was cool. So it's like, Damian appreciates the help, but he said he's not getting involved. If the other three want to get involved, that's on them, but he's not right now. He's got his own thing to worry about. So I'm like, okay. I'm interested in this. Again, it kind of feels like the JD thing, but not fully, because it's not just a guy wanting in the group. It's a guy wanting to be friends with the group, but also may need some help from them as well. So similar, but not 100% the same. What'd you think?
It's very similar, but not the same. I think, if anything, it might just lead to a one-time thing where like one of them helps Carlito against the LWO.
Maybe that's when we find out that Dominic's cleared. Dominic ends up helping Carlito, and he's like, takes off the brace because you think maybe he's still hurt. Then he takes off the sling, and he's like, takes out Ray or something. Maybe it leads to SummerSlam, Ray and Dragon Lee against Carlito and Dom.
Wouldn't hate it,
right?
They'll probably have Ray and Dragon Lee win though.
I can see that.
I mean, it's not going to affect Carlito whatsoever.
Nope.
I mean, I would like to see Dom get at least one win over Ray though.
True. Also,
I don't think that's ever happened.
Was it just me that the first time they showed Carlito tonight, it threw me off because he shaved all of his facial hair except for the goatee here? So I was like, oh, he's a little different look this week. It was like when you saw Dom with the mustache for the first time. You were just like, oh, he's changed up his look a little bit. Wasn't expecting that one.
He did.
So as far as next week's show does go, I forget where they said they're going to be. Maybe Greensboro, I think they said. Not 100% sure. But 3 matches were announced. Non-title match, Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Queen of the Ring semifinals, Ladder of Valkyria versus Io Sky. And a King of the Ring semifinals, it is Gunther against who we now know, Jey Uso, who beat Ilya Dragunov. It's also the go-home show for King and Queen of the Ring. So, as far as the main event does go, the main event went 12 and a half, almost 13 minutes. It was Jey Uso defeating Ilya Dragunov in a King of the Ring quarterfinal match. These two worked so well together. And I'm just going to say it. I love watching Ilya Dragunov wrestle. But, there's a big but. His entrance is goofy as shit. He's supposed to be what? A music conductor? And he's just going, well, as somebody that did band in school for many years, I know it's not just flailing your arms like this. It is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not wing, 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 wing. So, yeah, I've always thought Ilya Dragunov's entrance looks goofy as shit, but that's just my opinion. That's just me. Anyone can think whatever they want, but yeah, I've always thought Ilya's entrance was goofy.
I mean, it went well with the NXT crowd, so they're basically just testing it out with the main roster crowd.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I think they only did this with like his like theme before excuse me, they only did this with the like his theme song before, like this one and his current one. I don't think they ever did with his first one.
Oh, I don't know, because I didn't see, like, when he started in NXT UK, I'll be honest, I didn't watch much of NXT UK. So when he first came there, I really didn't see much of that.
He never did that in NXT UK though, because he had a theme song with like actual like lyrics.
Okay.
And he never did that. And I think once he actually went to regular NXT, that's probably when he got like a new theme song, and that's when he started doing the.
Yeah, he's just because he's walking down the ring, and he's just like, and I'm just like, you look like a fucking goof. Anywho, match was awesome. All Dragunov matches are basically awesome. Kivish says they can't use the Bullet Club name because New Japan owns the trademark. That's why I said a Bullet Club like group. I didn't say just the Bullet Club. Hence why AJ, Gallows, and Anderson, and also you could just do that. Put Gallows and Anderson with frickin' Finn and JD. But that's why AJ, Gallows, and Anderson were the OC, the club, not Bullet Club. Anyways, there we go. There's your group right there. Finn, JD, Gallows, Anderson. Maybe you add Meechin, maybe you don't. I don't know. I always thought she felt weird in that anyways.
Have Gallows and Anderson join them and call them the Balor Club.
There you go. I mean, they did that in NXT. They used that. I have a Balor Club t-shirt somewhere. I mean, there you go. You got it already.
I actually call it like, this is the Balor Club, the original Balor Club.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. It's written for you already. I'm surprised it's taken this long to pair all them up anyways. Anywho.
No, I honestly don't know why Triple H didn't really use like Gallows and Anderson that much.
It's weird because Triple H is the reason that they stuck around instead of going to AEW. And now it's like Triple H hasn't used them that well yet since bringing them back.
Even when they brought him back with AJ, they didn't use them well.
Because if you remember the story, 2019, their contracts were coming up. They had offers from AEW. They had offer from WWE. And they were in Japan for a live event. And they reportedly, or maybe they said this on their podcast, I don't remember. Triple H had a meeting with them and was like, $750,000 each. Stay with us. We're going to take care of you and your family. You're not going to go somewhere that could be gone in 5 years, that their future is not as set in stone. And then 6 months later, Vince releases them after they sign new deals. So, yeah.
Didn't they also like not get along with Paul Heyman as well?
Oh, Heyman said something about like they have a ceiling that they can't break past or something like that. Yeah, there was something like that. And that's why Vince was like, all right, well, then let them go. If Heyman doesn't think that they can get past a certain level, then let them go. Is basically the story.
And then like AJ Styles said something on his Twitch saying,
"Oh yeah, AJ was pissed, very pissed when he found out about that." I remember covering that story for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, like
I miss AJ's Twitch because AJ would just go off and say random shit that was very newsworthy at times. I miss AJ's Twitch, to be honest.
That's probably why he doesn't go live on Twitch anymore, because WWE probably won't let him.
Well, I mean, they'll let him. Others go live on Twitch.
I mean, that's probably why.
Yeah,
Vince wouldn't let people like wrestlers go live on Twitch for like the longest time.
It was that, and Vince wanted a cut, and none of the wrestlers wanted to give him a cut or whatever. Well, actually, AJ said he would have. AJ's like, if I can keep my Twitch and they take a cut, whatever, I don't care. I just want to go live on Twitch and hang out. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of slimy though. I mean, Twitch already takes half, and then WWE wanted another half.
Well, I don't know about another half, but WWE did want to cut because they're like, oh, you're using the names that we have trademarked. You're using our IP to make money off of it. You know what I mean? That's around the time when all the wrestlers started changing their Twitter handles and their Twitter names to their real names and this and that. And yeah, it was a whole thing. Anywho, as far as this match does go, Jey Uso knocked Dragunov off the top rope and hit a suicide dive, sending him into the announce table. Dragunov then came back with a boot and cleared the table. Tried to go for the H-bomb off the barricade to the table on Jey. Jey moved. He smacked his hand on the table, which is a callback to NXT when he busted his hand, missing an H-bomb before. And then he was speared over the table. After a commercial break, Jey hit strikes as the crowd chanted, yeet, yeet, yeet. But Dragunov cut him off with a boot and a German suplex. Actually, a couple, I think. Jey then blocked a third German suplex with Dragunov hitting an enziguri and clotheslined him for a 2. The crowd chanted, "Let's go Uso," before Dragunov chopped Jay in the corner and hit a running boot. Now here's my thing. For all the fans on Twitter, there was like, Dragunov should have won. Dragunov should have won. They did the wrong call. For the night, Jay was 20 times more over to this live crowd than Dragunov. I'm just going to say that. I get it. Fans wanted to see Dragunov beat Jay and then move on to face Gunther next week. But when you look at it from this live crowd perspective, they were solely 100%. We're having connection issues. We're going to keep going. 100% they were behind Jay over Dragunov the whole way through. They liked Dragunov moves and they liked what Dragunov was doing at times, but this was a Jay Uso crowd. Would you agree? Would you disagree?
Oh, yeah, this was a Jay Uso crowd.
Yeah. So Dragunov chops Jay in the corner and hits a running boot. Jay came back with consecutive super kicks for a 2. Dragunov blocked a spear and hit a running knee and a power bomb. Dragunov then hit an H-bomb, but it was too much for his hand that he'd already messed up. He didn't really make a good cover. Like, he didn't get that deep cover in, and Jay kicked out. Dragunov then went for another H-bomb, but Jay speared him, hit an Uso splash, and pinned him to pick up the victory. Crowd roared when Jay won. So again, at least for the night, they did the right call. And also, again, I'm going to say this. I'm glad that they're not just giving away Dragunov and Gunther next week. Because do you really want to see Dragunov versus Gunther and be like, oh man, I'm into this. Ah, fuck. I don't care about a Sonic Blast or a Slushy over here watching a Wiener Schnitzel commercial now. No, I want an uninterrupted Gunther Dragunov match on the main roster for the first one. So Jey Uso wins. Gunther then comes out. They have the stare down. I'm thinking, maybe Drew attacks Jay from behind. Nope, none of that. So both men going down next week. They're going to go into this match healthy. No, like, this guy got hurt before, or this guy, this, that. Yeah, great match. And I think Gunther and Jay, we've seen it before. It was good then. I think it's going to be good again. What do you think of all this? And what are your thoughts on Jay and Gunther next week?
I mean, that's going to be like a really good match. I know they had a good match before, but I think it's going to be a better match.
They main evented Raw for the IC title. It was the main event, right?
Yeah, it was the main event, and then Jimmy.
Yep, Jimmy screwed Jay. Yeah.
But I think this time it's going to be no interference. It's just these two just fighting.
Well, even if they wanted to do the interference, Jimmy's actually out injured, not cleared to do anything, so couldn't anyways. But I'm glad that we know for a fact Jimmy's not going to interfere. Because I want to see just a straight up match. Because we didn't get it last time, and I really like the match. So just think about this match is going to be even most likely better without the interference.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited. I can't wait to see Gunther versus Jey Uso next week. And in my opinion, holding off on Gunther and Dragunov is the right call. So let's get this poll up on Twitch really fast. What did you think of a Raw? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. So as we get that poll going, let's check the other polls as well. Refresh. As far as the Threads poll does go, 50% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 25% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 73% liked the show, 15% thought it was just all right, and 10% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, oh crap, I didn't do a community poll. My bad. I thought I did. It's been doing that for a while. Like, I'll post the community poll, or I'll think I post it, but then YouTube actually doesn't post it for some reason. That was like last week. We had an issue. I think it was Friday, where I would post a video, I'd click public, and then YouTube would post it as unpublished or unlisted, and so no one would see it, and then eventually it would just randomly be posted public. So I don't know. As far as the live poll does go, though, 77% liked the show, 17% thought it was just all right, and 6% didn't like it. And finally, everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at Petke_21. And you can also find me over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke.
With that, guys, we'll be back on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. What do we got? 2 more Dynamites before the pay-per-view? Yep. 2 more Dynamites before the pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. With that, guys, have a great night. Have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. All right, if you're still watching